will be joining us. 31st Annual Red River Valley Boat and Marine Products Show coming up this weekend. We'll get all the details. All this and more in the next Bonnie and Friends beginning at 5 a.m. Join us.
The Jay Thomas Show.
Whoops, try again. Hi, you're caller 12. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Man, I can't believe you got through, man. You got yourself. You ready?
Yep.
People are dying to get their hands on these.
All right.
You got a 9-gram foil pack of Heinz ketchup.
The Jay Thomas Show, weekday afternoons at 2 here on WDAY, 970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. Sunny, a little chilly afternoon. Thanks for joining us again. I'm Meteorologist Justin Storm. I'm here with Ag Director Bridgette Readel and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. And guys, how refreshing is it to see the sun finally return after a little sun here or there, but mainly like 2 weeks of just cloudy skies.
Yeah, it feels good with the wind chill 13 below out there.
You know, that's technically warm compared to the direction that we're going.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Just make sure you're wear a heavy coat. It'll be fine. Don't stand outside a long period of time, Dean. Really.
It's that easy. Okay.
That's that easy.
Who's coming over to shovel my driveway after it all gets blown over the next couple of days?
Aren't you the guy who goes to the gym every day? So as far as I can tell, this is going to work in your favor.
You don't have to worry about the driveway.
Well, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely. See? Positive side of things, Dean, every day.
There you go. We do have some dangerously cold weather, though, heading our way as we head into the weekend, and probably the first at least week of February, and this is going to probably last through mid-month, varying in intensity. But your door's open, Bridgette. You better close it. There you go. Okay. But we got wind chills coming up this weekend, probably between 25 and in spots of the Northern Valley could approach 40 below. So once you get to 40 below, that's when you're dealing with the dangerous wind chills out there, and we'll be approaching that at times next week as well. This is a pretty hardy Arctic air mass that's going to be kind of locked in place, stronger than the one that we had in December. And we had somebody post on our Facebook. He said, according to the LRC, is this cold snap coming in a bit earlier than what was forecasted by the LRC, and a little bit close to a week? And the LRC has been fluctuating 4 to 5 days either side of what is on our calendar, mainly due to blocking in the atmosphere. Sometimes there's been blocking, sometimes there hasn't. So it is coming in a little bit earlier than we were forecasting by the LRC. But
and I think a big portion of that is the second, or the technically third Clipper system that's coming in on Thursday and Friday. In the past cycles, wasn't quite as aggressive as it was, as it's going to be this one, or this time coming around into Friday. And that, because of its strength, will pull a little bit more of that Arctic air down a little early.
Exactly. And typically, you get these storms riding out of the Rockies and then moving kind of like the one did in December and parked itself over the Great Lakes. So it's a little bit different pattern set up this time. That's one of the reasons it's coming in just a little bit earlier. But it's going to last. It's going to last just as long, probably a couple of weeks.
Yep. We got some fun things coming up on the show today. We're going to be touching on a few ag topics that we'll cover here coming up after our interview with Irie Insurance. And a couple of those topics, we're going to be talking about farm-tested tech tools by the Bobcat creators are being inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. And, oh, Bridgette, did you bring your Reynolds?
Oh, no.
Oh, wait till you hear this, Bridgette.
Yes, Case IH quad tracks in Antarctica. Why are they sending quad tracks to Antarctica? Are they trying to get to the secret underglacial oil mines? Trying to get down to that subterranean ocean underneath the ice or the glacier? This will be a fun conversation coming up later in the show. If you have any comments on anything we're talking about during the show, you want to join in on the conversation, ask us a question, feel free to do so. Give us a call, 701-293-9000. That's our studio line. Again, the phone number is 701-293-9000. Or you can always reach us via email at weatherorag@flagfamily.com. Remember, we live stream every single day live to Facebook and YouTube, as well as Acres TV. And you can always find our past shows located on there or our website, WDAYradionow.com. We're going to get you updated from ABC News, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with Irie.
From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. Zhao Chun Li, accused in the murders of 7 co-workers, to be in court in San Mateo County, California today.
San Mateo County DA Stephen Wagstaff says there's no question it was workplace violence.
He gave several-hour-long statement in this building here, and while I won't go into the statement, what I will say, it has alleviated for us any thought that this was a hate crime. It was not a hate crime.
Court documents from a previous case show the alleged shooter had a history of making threats against co-workers going back many years.
ABC's Alex Stone. U.S. Treasury taking additional steps to keep the government from blasting through the debt ceiling. The Treasury to only partially fund an investment fund for federal workers. President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy at some point are to meet on the debt limit. The Speaker says the administration is being irresponsible for refusing to negotiate spending cuts.
We're going to be responsible, we're going to be sensible, and we're going to get this done together. So the longer he waits, the more he puts the fiscal jeopardy of America up for grabs.
More complications over classified documents. After he requested a search, classified documents were found in the possession of former Vice President Pence. Former Proud Boy Matthew Green testified at the January 6th trial of the group's former leader and other members.
Green expected an all-out civil war, explaining how the Proud Boys became more aggressive in the weeks leading up to the Capitol riots. The group searched for far-left activists, Green said, hoping to stir up conflict while opposing President Joe Biden's election victory. The Proud Boys face allegations of seditious conspiracy, a rarely prosecuted charge carrying a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. Quinn Owen, ABC News.
The Mellon Foundation has bestowed the American Library Association with a $5.5 million grant to, in part, counter a surge in book banning over the past 2 years. You're listening to ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Has winter put your vehicle's appearance in a deep freeze? Put that shine back on with a little help from Don's Car Wash. Since 1958, no one cleans your car better than Don's. Voted Best Car Wash of 2022. They make it easy to keep your vehicle clean when you join their unlimited wash club starting at $19.99. Don's 13th Avenue location offers Fargo Moorhead's only interior and exterior wash packages. It's easy to beat Old Man Winter with your locally owned Don's Car Washes.
Don't you hate when you forget something important? Grandma's birthday, the password to your old laptop, or picking up little Timmy from hockey practice? It's okay, we've all been there. Let us take one thing off your mind this year with Giving Hearts Day scheduled giving. Starting January 2nd, you can give to one of hundreds of charitable causes before the big day. You can even pledge to volunteer if that's your thing. Visit givingheartsday.org and help someone in your community today.
And welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. So glad you are joining us today. Always happy to have you listening. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Meteorologist Extraordinaire Justin Storm. It's 1:13 in the afternoon, and we welcome in with us today Lon Irie. Lon is with Irie Insurance Company, and we wanted to visit just a little bit about some of the things that Irie Insurance does for us, whether it's for home or for farm, etc. So, Lon, tell us a little bit about the agency, if you would, please.
Hey, Bridgette, we've got, tell you a little bit about Irie Insurance. We've got offices all over the eastern part of the state. We've got people that specialize in home auto.
Oh, sorry, Lon, can you pull that a little closer to you?
Sure.
There you go.
We've got folks that specialize in home, auto, life, health, farm, obviously. We're real big in farm and ag. We approach things with the team atmosphere where if someone can't help you or you need help with something else, we always kind of work together to get the client the answers they need.
I see.
Well, I can tell you right now, it looks like we are a team atmosphere here, just like you are at your place. So that's why Justin's got a question for you.
Well, I was going to promote the phone lines. If anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask related, and we're going to be talking about home and auto, if you'd want to give us a call at 701-293-9000, Lon would be able to answer, or might be able to answer any question that you have.
Yeah. And Lon, what do you feel is the most? A lot of people look at insurance as, all right, I just need it on my auto, I need it on my home, just give me the minimal insurance, and oftentimes that's not the way to go. What do you think is the most overlooked part of insurance that people are underinsured on?
Oh, that's a great question. When a lot of people, like you're talking about the price, is everyone's focused on the price, and you got to look at the bigger picture with the coverages on everything that you have. People don't think about all the things you acquire over the years, your TVs, your sofas, all your furniture, like your personal property stuff. Some people are like, well, I don't need that much coverage in personal property, but you really do. If you think about your house burned down, how much it would cost to buy all those things new again.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling because I have just thought about that, and what we ended up doing with our insurance is we go through our house, anytime we make big change or new purchase or whatever, but we have like a video walkthrough of what the whole house is, everything that's in it, all the belongings, so you know what is originally there. For worst case scenario, like you said, if your house burns down, you can have proof of what you had that you lost, so you can get covered for it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea to take. Once a year, once every couple of years, go through your house, see everything that you have, document it, save it to your phone, save it to a cloud somewhere, so you know what you have. I don't know if you remember Coach Brown, for the former coach of the Bison, went through, lost his house entirely, burned down. Terrible experience to go through, but if you have everything documented, it's going to be a lot easier to prove what you have and get your claim taken care of.
And Lon, not just when it comes to what you do regarding your own personal property in your home, but think about your farm shops. As I drove yesterday, I happened to see a couple of shops that had roof collapses due to all of the heavy snow. And so would you recommend doing the same thing when it comes to your farm shop? And you likely already have. You likely already have a pretty good inventory. But what about increasing some of those values, considering what we've had going on with inflation and cost to replace?
Yeah, on the personal line side of the homes, a lot of the carriers will offer a replacement cost guarantee where, say your house is worth $500,000, they're going to give you 125% of the value if you insure it to value. Some folks do things not the right way, and they're in agencies, and they're not going to insure the house to value just so they can get the client. We have a replacement cost estimator we use that we put all the details of the home in. It tells us exactly what the house is worth in today's dollars, and if we insure it to that value, they'll get up to 125% with most carriers. Some carriers go all the way up to 150% of the value of the house to protect you from those things. If you're, the cost of lumber, labor, all those things, to protect you from when those things go up.
And I know a lot of people don't think about, I used to sell insurance back in the day, and a lot of people, just for an increased coverage, a lot of people don't realize that, all right, if I'm insuring, let's say, vehicles in or passengers in my vehicle, because you get insurance on your car, but you also have to insure anything that's in your vehicle, and people often will just disregard that or take the minimal coverage when you could increase that by $100,000, $200,000, and it's only a couple bucks a month typically. right?
Yeah, when you look at it, what's going to cost you to insure it for just a little bit more, it is. You're exactly right. It's pennies on the day to insure things for more.
Yeah, because I mean, if you get into a wreck, if you end up in the snow rear-ending a BMW, you better make sure your coverage is good enough on, or you're going to be paying out of pocket for that.
It's amazing how in North Dakota the state minimums what you can get by with. I mean, we won't sell you the state minimums. I don't know if any agent, or barely any agencies will. It's just there's not enough coverage. If something bad would happen, you rear end a Escalade or BMW or something like that and wreck the car, or even worse, hurt somebody or kill somebody, the liability for you to get sued and owe money out of your retirement or whatever it might be, it's astronomical.
Yeah.
And this same thing can apply to homes as well, because someone's over at your house for whatever reason, they end up falling through your deck or they get some serious injury. You're technically, depending on who it is, and I know people that have tried to sue family over injuries like that before, you can get the liability for your house as well in case something like that happens, or say like I want to say it's an umbrella package, right? Or is that something separate?
Yep, you've got liability coverage that you can have on your base policy, but then you can add an umbrella on top of that. That's a great, and it's again pennies on the dollar. Like I just got an umbrella for my family, and it was $150 for a year for $1 million worth of coverage. Because you never know. You don't know everyone that comes over to your house, and say a kid comes over and trips and falls and cracks their neck, and their parents want to sue me. I'm protected for that.
Right. Here's another one. So I don't know if you're going to have an answer for this, but it comes a lot in the wintertime, and who's at fault? And that's snow removal along sidewalks in front of your house. And most of the time it ends up falling on the person who owns the house. They're responsible for clearing the sidewalks. If for whatever reason, it's determined that it was uncleared by the property owner and someone slips, can you be at fault for that?
Yeah, I mean, technically it's on your property, so you could be held liable for anything that happens to them. Ice is something that's underneath a lot of the sidewalks and roads that we see now, and yeah, you most certainly could be.
So I've got a question, Lon. So out in front of my house, there's a bus stop, and there's a little alleyway that comes from in back of my house to the front of the house, and then so the kids cut through my yard, and I'm not out there, get off my lawn, go ahead, I don't care. But they're cutting through my yard without my permission, but again, I don't mind. And they're like going through the grass onto the sidewalk. So if they come onto my sidewalk, they're going to the bus stop, and they slip on my sidewalk. Am I liable?
In my opinion, yeah, you are, because that's your property.
Even though I didn't give them permission to come onto my property.
Yeah, but you don't.
Now I'm asking a law question.
Yeah, that's there might be out of my.
Now I'm asking a law question.
Yeah. I would say you are, because it's your property. If you had a stake that said no trespassing or something, then I think you'd. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I think that kind of falls along the lines that you got a pool in your backyard and it's not fenced in, and some kid comes over and, God forbid, falls in.
You're liable.
You're liable for that because it wasn't.
Now, would an umbrella policy cover that then?
Yeah.
It would.
Yep.
Okay.
And I got one last question for you here, Lon. And tell me if this is true, because I've heard it both ways. You're driving, you see a deer, you swerve, you go into the ditch. You can't file a claim for that, where if you were to just hit the deer, or you cause some other injury or something, you cause another accident because you're swerving to avoid a deer, that's on you, versus if you were to just hit the deer and then that can be covered. Is that true? I don't know if you'd have an answer for that or not.
It would be covered under a comp claim either way. So you'd be covered, yeah.
Right. So the way I was kind of leaning into this. How does something like that apply in the winter if you're driving? If you slide off the road because it's icy, is that neglect that you're going too fast and you slid off the road, or can you make a claim on something like that?
I mean, you've been on roads where you're going 5 miles an hour and you slide, so you can't really put it just on the speed. No, you got to have coverage for that.
Okay. Well,
one thing you want to add, think about around when you talk about slide on the roads, that a lot of people don't think about. It's very cheap, is to add roadside assistance to your policy. Look into that. It's very cheap to get it, and it helps you if you wood put it in the ditch or get
Right. And what usually comes in something like that, like the roadside assistance packages? What is that covering for you?
Well, the time you forget to put gas in your car, covering for that, you need to jump. You put it in the ditch. All the carriers are a little bit different on how much they'll cover.
Right. Towing?
Towing, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a big one, yep.
Great.
Some carriers will give you a certain amount, X amount of dollars to use towards the towing. Some carriers pick up the charge, whatever it might be.
Right. That's what we have with our auto insurance, and we have that roadside assistance, and it's been great. And I've only had to use it twice, but man, the 2 times I've had to use it, we had to tow a vehicle because it was immobile. It covered $200 worth of towing fees. But Lon, I want to appreciate you for jumping on with us here on Weather and Ag in Focus this afternoon. If anyone has further questions or they want to reach out to you, they want to get more information about IRI, how can they do so?
They can call us at 701-492-2228, or they can look on our website at iriins.com.
All right, great. Well, again, thank you, Lon. And when Weather and Ag in Focus returns, well, we still got those ag topics. I'm folding up my tinfoil hat as we speak, and we'll take a look at that forecast. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
Driving in our area presents many challenges. You need to trust that your vehicle can get you where you need to go. According to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com, Subaru is the most trusted brand for 8 years running. Claim one of our incoming new all-wheel drive Subaru models, and you could be enjoying that reliability sooner. Muscatel's Subaru, located just off the interstate in Moorhead or online at muscatelsubaru.com. Subaru, built to last.
Do you love working on cars but don't love your current job? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We're a family-owned full-service auto repair shop looking to hire skilled automotive technicians. With our state-of-the-art shops, great work environment with competitive pay and benefits, you'll enjoy a great job with a bigger purpose and a lot of opportunity for advancement. Visit FixItForwardAutoCare.com to apply. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care. Urban Toad Media has moved, now in a brand new location on Main Avenue in West Fargo. Urban Toad Media offers the same quality graphic design and professional photography. Urban Toad Media has been a leader in the FM area, providing exceptional graphic design and professional photography. They offer friendly and affordable service. You'll love working with Urban Toad Media. Visit their website at urbantoadmedia.com for more info.
Most of us take our independence for granted, living, working, shopping, dining out. Without the support services that Red River Human Services provides for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, those everyday tasks would be unattainable. Your donation on Giving Hearts Day creates independence and brings joy and dignity beyond measure to the people Red River Human Services supports. Please consider a gift February 9th. Visit givingheartsday.org and search Red River Human Services.
Most people are horrified by the idea of destroying an unborn baby up to the moment of birth. But not Minnesota State Senator Robert Kupik. Senator Kupik just voted for the PRO Act, which would allow any baby to be aborted for any reason at any time up to birth. Please call Robert Kupik at 651-296-3205 to express your disappointment. Tell him to please vote no when the PRO Act comes to the Senate floor. Paid for by Minnesota citizens concerned for life.
Planning one's own funeral or that of a loved one can be overwhelming and costly, not to mention extremely emotional. Hi, I'm Craig, owner of West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center. At West Funeral Home, our staff will educate and prepare you for this journey and work with you to create a meaningful and healing experience, serving the Valley for 4 generations and over 100 years.
West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, little things make the difference.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us on this cold, late January day. We've been spoiled this month, though. We really haven't had a whole lot of Arctic air, and we're getting a piece of it today with temperatures in the single digits and winds out of the north between 10 and 20, producing those sub-zero wind chills. Bundle up if you're heading out. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy throughout the area, and tonight's going to be a cold one. We'll dip down between 5 and 10 below and then see temperatures steady to slowly rise towards morning as winds turn to the south. Some areas could get even a little bit colder than that if we hang on to the clear skies long enough and light winds. And then southerly winds rapidly increase tomorrow, and that will be ahead of a clipper system that brings us a nice little swath of snow as we head towards late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. This is going to come at the wrong time, and what I mean by that is it's going to come right around rush hour. We'll start to get some moderate snow up and down the valley. So your morning commute tomorrow is fine. Your evening commute probably going to be a little slippery for tomorrow, so keep that in the back of your mind.
Blowing and drifting of the snow.
Blowing and drifting of the snow as we head into Friday, yeah. 1 to 3 inches of snow, and then all that's going to get blown around as we head into Friday with stiff northerly winds. We'll get some blowing of the snow with the southerly winds as that system comes through, but then the real blowing of the snow comes Friday morning with winds gusting 40 miles an hour. And that's going to whip that snow around and drift it and reduce visibility, slippery travel. So you're going to have slippery travel in your commute home Thursday, slippery travel in your commute in Friday. And that's going to be on an Arctic front as cold air barrels into the area as we head into the upcoming weekend with highs around 5 below, nighttime lows 15 to 20 below, wind chills 25 to 40 below as we head into the upcoming weekend. So, and this, as we said, this cold weather will last probably for about 10 days to 2 weeks, varying in intensity. We'll get little bump ups in the temps, and by bump ups, if we got to 10 above, I'd be surprised, and then back down well below zero. So,
and how long did you say that this cold snap might be lasting, Dean?
About a week to 2 weeks.
Yep, that ick.
But hey, the good news is
we had a nice January.
There's no big storms in the offing, so none of those bomb cyclones or anything like that heading our way. Nothing like that heading our way. Tossing you a softball and you swung and missed.
Bomb cyclone. What's a bomb cyclone? I don't even know what to do. If there was a snowstorm or a blizzard, I would know what to do. What do I do in a bomb cyclone? Oh my God. Bomb cyclone.
Thankfully, we got
so we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about that. But expect that reduced visibility Friday morning with slippery travel and a lot of blowing snow around. Again, depending on how much snow we get, will depend on the kind of severity of the blowing snow and reduced visibility. So cold weather, a little bit of snow, we can get through it. It's going to be a cold stretch for the next couple of weeks.
You know, I would love to just go out and say this is great for ice fishing because it's going to build the ice, but I think we got enough ice at this point of the year.
Well, I think that depends on who you're talking to and what part of the lake they want to fish on.
You know, that's a great question, Bridgette. Have you heard any reports on ice around the area or maybe some spots that are lacking?
Yes, all the above. So always pay attention to where you're headed out to, and don't just drive out to the middle of the lake and decide now is my time to pop the hole and see what it looks like.
Especially those big lakes.
Yeah, we maybe should have brought that up with Lon in our segment talking about insurance, but it's of the utmost importance to scope that out in advance. Walk out, check. There's some big lakes that, especially we had that snowstorm, and then the cold followed it in December, so it was an insulating cover, and we didn't get as thick a ice as we might have wanted. Particularly up on Devil's Lake right now. I know I'm heading up there next week. We're looking at about 24 to 25 inches of ice, and we've had those guys moving a lot of snow in preparation of being able to get the ice thicker in areas so that it definitely will hold up when you want to take a vehicle or an ice house out there.
You said 24 to 25 inches of ice?
Yes.
Is that not enough?
Okay, you're talking to someone who didn't grow up ice fishing and is not necessarily always comfortable on the lake. So until we put an extension on an ice auger, I'm nervous. How's that sound?
You know, that's fair. Is that the whole lake that's like that? Or are there other spots that you've heard about where maybe it gets thinner, especially around some of those areas where there are more water flow or natural springs within some of the lakes? Because I know that there's big ones over in the central Minnesota area where it's just an inch of ice for year round.
Well, and folks will tell you that live in that Devil's Lake area, they'll get out-of-staters who come through and say, well, I want to drive from this part of the lake to the other one. And they'll try to drive underneath some of the bridges, some of the roadway bridges.
Ooh,
that's
don't
always
do that.
thin ice. And that's where they tend to lose a vehicle. Yes.
I see. Well, if you want to join in on the conversation, you want to talk about ice amounts, anything about the lake, any natural springs around some of these lakes, give us a call, 701-293-9000. We'd love to hear from you. You're the guys that are out there experiencing it. If there are any thin spots on the ice on nearby lakes. We're going to take a short break here. We're going to come back. We'll touch on a couple of these ag topics. And Bridgette, I did it. I finished the tinfoil hat, so maybe we'll touch on that. No? All right.
You know, every time you say that, it scares me. Every time.
The tinfoil hat?
Voice is always yelling. Who said that? I am not insane. Stop it. Stop talking to me.
Voices bothering you, man? You need one of these doodangs.
A foil hat?
Yes, a foil hat. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
No matter what season it is, you want an ice-cold beverage that's not going to slow you down. You want a Mick Ultra or a Mick Ultra Pure Gold. Michelob Ultra is the superior light beer that goes down smooth with only 96 calories and 2.6 carbs. And Michelob Ultra Pure Gold is brewed with organic grains from the finest fields to craft a crisp taste with no artificial flavors or colors. And only 85 calories and 2.5 carbs. You make the winning choice. Mick Ultra or Mick Ultra Pure Gold.
What do you call a place that feels like home every time you walk in? A place with plenty of TVs to watch a Saturday or Sunday game and still be able to carry on a conversation. It's known for delicious lunch specials, soups, and appetizers made from scratch every day. We call it Midtown Tavern, where they don't skimp on food or drinks anytime. Head to Midtown and enjoy Wednesday wine night, live music nights, and Dwayne's Pizza any day of the week. That's Midtown Tavern, Highway 10 East in Moorhead. See Facebook for specials, watch parties, and live music.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The famous chips. The potato chip, the chocolate chip, the computer chip, the poker chip, the paint chip, and the windshield chip. Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead wants to remind you that the difference in temperature outside and inside your vehicle can make a little chip grow into a real budget buster. So make your repair or replacement appointment today at Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead. Call or go online at glassdoctor.com/Fargo. That's glassdoctor.com/Fargo.
Call the Glass Doctor, will fix your pains.
Fair Meadow Nursing Home is a 42-bed skilled nursing facility in fertile Minnesota. They pride themselves on the small-town, close-knit, home environment feel it provides its residents. And Fair Meadow Nursing Home is now hiring for the following positions: CNA, LPN, CNA therapy aides, dietary cook, dietary aide, and housekeeping aides. Fair Meadow Nursing Home and Assisted Living is committed to providing seniors a rich, meaningful, and dignified life, focusing on physical, social, spiritual, and emotional needs in order to provide the best life journey possible.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, who's not nearly as photogenic as during the break. Dean Wysocki, Chief Meteorologist, and Meteorologist Justin Storm are having a little photo session in the studio.
We're in the middle. We're in the middle of shooting a commercial in here.
Well, I'd say this is a pretty good day for you guys.
Yeah, it's airing in 48 to the 50 states too.
Which two isn't it?
Alaska and Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Hey, every place we go counts. So, guys, want to talk a little bit about bobcats?
You know, they're a furry little creature, aren't they?
But they tend to be a little ferocious. But bobcat, the skid steer loaders, definitely originated in this region. Back in 1957, the two Keller brothers, Cyril and Lewis Keller, were owning they were two farmers who owned a blacksmith shop, or excuse me, two bachelor brothers who owned a blacksmith shop in Barnesville, North Dakota. And they went ahead and had a request from a local turkey farmer who wanted to be able to have something that could help him in his barns. It had to be agile and small and durable. And they found that they could build this little front loader that had two wheels and a little rolling coaster, or caster wheel in the back, I should say, a caster.
Right.
And it caught the eye of Melrose and Company, and pretty soon Melrose started building them under the trade name Bobcat, and they're still built to this day. Well, these two gentlemen from Barnesville, the Keller brothers, are now being inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. Bobcats, I do remember being at a conference in high school in the late 80s, and we had executives from Bobcat speaking to us. They rang a bell every 8 minutes during their presentation because that's how often a Bobcat was sold around the world.
Wow.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So they're going to be standing right next to, like Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla. Am I thinking about the same Hall of Fame here?
I believe that is the same National Inventors Hall of Fame. It will be, yes. And so
super cool.
I just think it's pretty neat that so many different areas of technology came from this region, especially when it comes to farm equipment. WCCO down at Wahpeton with Wahpeton Canvas Belting. We can talk about Amity, Steiger tractors. All of those things have come from this region.
Those Steigers are really
for
cool.
reasons because farmers needed them. Steigers are awesome.
I got the Steigers.
They began out on a farm.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, all right. I'll go.
A Steiger tractor. Okay.
I got those Steigers in the farming simulator game, and I run a couple of them on the farm with my John Deeres.
Okay. Yep, you got John Deere tillage equipment?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I got all sorts of fun stuff.
Steiger originated at Red Lake Falls, Minnesota. They are one of the forerunners to four-wheel drive tractors because they could be articulating in the way that they moved. And so now Case IH owns the Steiger name, and they're built right here in Fargo.
Super interesting. And speaking of Case IH, this is something that's going to tap the controversial mind, maybe not controversial, conspiracy minds.
Let's hear it.
What in the heck are they doing down there in Antarctica where they need to be sending down some Case IH quad tracks? So, Bridgette, what's going on down in, did I say Alaska? If I said Alaska,
Antarctica.
I meant Antarctica.
You said Antarctica.
What are they doing? Are they trying to get underneath the glacier, trying to get to the secret oil mines, or are they trying to break through the mile of ice crust to get to that subterranean lake where that organism, 43B or 46B is supposed to exist?
No.
What do you mean,
So,
no? There's what are they doing?
Case IH has Steiger quad tracks that were built in Fargo. 3 of them are being shipped to Antarctica. They spent some time in Tanzania as they were being prepped for their trip. And I got a picture on Twitter just last week of one of those Case quad tracks on a barge being sent across the water on its way to Antarctica. And they are a big tractor. They'll be used down there by an airfield to pull heavy loads, also do runway maintenance and other various tasks that'll be needed. Might want to plug them in, though. I think it's going to be a little chilly.
You know, that just kind of goes into my point. You got airfields down there and heavy loads. What are they doing down in Antarctica?
No matter what I say, you're going to tell me that it has something to do with a secret laboratory, so I'm pretty sure I'm just going to leave it up to you.
Well, I don't have an answer.
Well, there was rumors that not only that the aliens that they captured at Area 51, that they shipped them down and they're under the ice at Antarctica.
Well,
did you read that? You read that?
They might need the tractors to to pull the heavy loads, which are the UFOs, because they can't hide in
That's
that
a
area
good
of
point.
51 anymore because people keep peeking over the mountain ridge.
Yeah, where no one's down in Antarctica, so that's a safe haven for all the UFO parts and the aliens down there.
That's exactly what it is.
So we're going to skip over the apparent answer, which is probably weather equipment in Antarctica and supplies for those far out-reaching stations that are operated by the Coast Guard and weather services and so forth. We're just going to skip right by that.
Well, that as well.
I think that there's more going on down there. And
hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption. You think you know the whole story? Think again.
There's something going on down there. I'm telling you, there's something going on down in Antarctica.
We'll have to do a little investigation.
I'm leaving it at the fact that Case IH has 3 staggered quad tracks going to Antarctica.
Okay.
That's where I want to leave it.
It's a good thing it's a good thing they're heading down there. That's for sure. Bridgette,
absolutely, it's pretty cool to see them on their way.
right? Bridgette, do you want to talk? You want to touch on where we're going tomorrow, real quick? And is open to the public in case people want to come out, right?
I do believe so. No, I think they were asking for folks to register in advance, but looks like Barrett Agri-Service is hosting an event tomorrow in Herman, Minnesota. That'll be at the Herman Community Center. Dean and I were asked to come in to talk about weather and ag because, well, you know what? Those are things we might know a little bit about. So we'll be there. I think lunch is at noon, and we'll be starting shortly thereafter.
And a few of the things we're going to be touching on, we'll be talking about the LRC a little bit, and we're going to take a little sneak peek on part of our March 7th. Make sure you put March 7th on your calendar. We will have our LRC Spring and Summer Outlook, which will pinpoint month by month, week by week, actually, on what this upcoming spring and summer looks like for our ag community. And we're going to break out a few of those details tomorrow down in Herman, Minnesota, and let our ag community down there have a sneak peek of what this upcoming spring and summer may look like around here. So if you're in and around the Herman area, or you're going to be going through that area, stop by. It's at the community center in Herman, Minnesota. We'll be down there, and we'd love to see everybody.
It'd be fun for you guys.
Yeah.
I'll be here hanging down the rope.
Somebody's got to hold the fort down.
And Sarah Lovis will be joining me tomorrow for Weather and Ag in Focus, and that'll be a fun time with Sarah, always is. And we're going to have our guest on tomorrow as well. That's going to be Tim Mock from Butcher's Edge. Edgeley. We'll be talking about what they got going on over there, so it'll also be a fun conversation. So make sure you stay tuned tomorrow. If you aren't going to go visit Dean and Bridgette, you can spend some time with me and Sarah Lovis tomorrow from 1 to 2.
Absolutely.
And Butcher's Edge is a pretty neat deal. That's a conglomeration of about 5 area producers who put their time and efforts together, and they started up a local processing plant. Sounds like things are running pretty busy, because when I first contacted Tim just after the start of deer season, I knew it was deer season, and I said, let's plan ahead. And we went all the way until the end of January before things were going to free up just a little bit for him to have time to visit. So it'll be great to hear what's been going on.
You know, Bridgette, speaking of staying busy, and I don't know if I'm just seeing something not correct here or what's going on, but I believe I'm still seeing semis tracking up and down I-29 from Grand Forks to the sugar beet plant over there, hauling sugar beets. Are they still doing that? Are they doing something else? What am I maybe seeing?
Oh, no. They're hauling beets. So we went through beet harvest last fall. A lot of them were piled outside on outside pilers where they've got those big induction units that open up. They look like a bird's mouth that opens, and they draw cold air in. So they'll be doing that the next few days, gentlemen. And they draw that cold air in through tubes underneath the piles that are tarped, and it really acts as a deep freeze. What's happening now is, as the piles are being taken apart and hauled into the processing plants, usually sugar beet processing campaign goes on till about early May. And so, yes, you are going to continue to see those trucks going up and down the road hauling in for processing to make, sugar, all the way until May.
Oh, yes. And yeah, that was just interesting to me, because the way I interpreted it is that, you have your sugar beet harvest, and that's, you're busy 2-3 week stretch. It's just nonstop. All you see are trucks going up and down the side highways, the service roads, the interstate. There's beets on every corner of the street. And they're still doing it. I just figured that they were done. Is this a normal practice that a lot of people do, or do most people just harvest it all and send it in right away?
Remember, all the sugar beets, once they are hauled into the pilers, are property of the cooperative American Crystal Sugar or Mindak Farmers Cooperative in Wahpeton. And so those storage piles that you see on off to the side of the highways or at small towns, those beets have already been brought in from the field. They belong to the cooperative because there's only X amount of storage space available at the factory districts up and down the valley. American Crystal has 5, Mindak has 1. They leave them on those piling sites externally, and then they start bringing them in all through the winter months so that they can get processed as time allows. They're going through their slicing and so forth right now.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I just didn't know. Are there any other harvests that are still moving stuff around right now, or is it just basically the sugar beets in our area?
Well, if you think of it this way, we still have corn and soybeans that are in bunkers. Primarily corn would be in a bunker right now. You have soybeans that are in grain bins, wheat's being hauled. Even as I drove today, I saw a lot of farmyards where folks were loading semis to send down the road as they were hauling grain in. So grain is on a constant move. Any of our commodity products throughout the year, we're trying to get it to the right place where it needs to be. And so that's going to continue on until we are ready to plant and keep moving that crop where it should go.
Very interesting. Well, we're going to catch up with the American Ag Network now, but if you want to come back and ask us a question, join our conversation, drop a comment, maybe it's on a past conversation or topic we've already had, or if you want to tell us what you think is going on down in Antarctica, give us a call, 701-293-9000, or you can share with us what's actually going down in Antarctica, because I truly have no idea. I just know that they got research camps down there. What they're researching, I don't know. What are they telling us that they're researching? I don't know. Tell me. 701-293-9000. We'll touch up with the American Ag Network. We'll come back, take another look at the forecast, a couple more ag topics, and we'll wrap up our show.
Driving in our area presents many challenges. You need to trust that your vehicle can get you where you need to go. According to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com, Subaru is the most trusted brand for 8 years running. Claim one of our incoming new all-wheel drive Subaru models, and you could be enjoying that reliability sooner. Muscatel's Subaru, located just off the interstate in Moorhead or online at muscatelsubaru.com. Subaru, built to last.
Is this what you hear when you call your shop? Hi, this is Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We know you've got places to go, things to do, and people to see. That's why Fix It Forward promises to get your vehicle in quickly, repairs done properly, and you safely back out on the road. With 2 convenient locations in Fargo and Moorhead, our speed of service is the service that you deserve. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Urban Toad Media has moved, now in a brand new location on Main Avenue in West Fargo. Urban Toad Media offers the same quality graphic design and professional photography. Urban Toad Media has been a leader in the FM area, providing exceptional graphic design and professional photography. They offer friendly and affordable service. You'll love working with Urban Toad Media. Visit their website at urbantoadmedia.com for more info.
Most people are horrified by the idea of destroying an unborn baby up to the moment of birth, but not Minnesota State Senator Robert Kupik. Senator Kupik just voted for the PRO Act, which would allow any baby to be aborted for any reason at any time up to birth. Please call Robert Kupik at 651-296-3205 to express your disappointment. Tell him to please vote no when the PRO Act comes to the Senate floor. Paid for by Minnesota citizens concerned for life.
Soybeans, bean meal, and wheat finish higher, corn choppy, livestock mixed. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this closing market update. Well, on Wednesday, not a whole lot of fresh news in these markets. Soybeans, meal finding a little bit of strength with some uncertainty in the South American weather forecast. And also the wheat markets finding a little bit of strength as there were reports that a missile hit a Turkish ship in the port near Kherson on Wednesday, and markets becoming a little less sensitive to headlines coming out of Ukraine, almost desensitized by the daily flow of news, but still it's something of note there. Wheat prices also having a little bit of strength as India tries to cool red-hot food inflation costs, and there's some massive short positions on the wheat market by fund managers, and there's a little bit of worry that a big short covering rally, how could that be offset with the lack of other natural sellers in the marketplace right now? Corn, again, choppy, really lacking a fundamental story to move the market on Wednesday. Final numbers on Wednesday. March corn down 2 1/4, 674 3/4. July corn down 1 1/2, 663 1/4. March soybeans 14 higher, 1502 1/2. July beans up 8 1/2, 1488 1/4. March bean meal at 570 a ton, 465.50. March bean oil down 44 points, 60.54. March Chicago wheat 6 3/4 higher, 741 1/4. July up 6, 750 1/2. March Kansas City wheat up 9 1/2, 843 1/4. March spring wheat up 5 1/2, 908 1/2. Spring wheat for July up 6, 897. February live cattle down 25, 157.60. April up 25, 161.55. June live cattle up 35, 158.20. January feeder cattle up 45, 179.40. March up 15, 183.75. February hogs down 30, 76.80. April hogs down 5, 85.32. That's a look at how the market trade closed on Wednesday on the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you again for joining us here for our last few minutes of the show. If you have any questions for us, feel free to give us a call, 701-293-9000, or you can email us, weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. If you have any ag or weather-related questions, I know we're going to be diving in a little bit more over the coming weeks on the LRC, and we'll have our special, again, mark that on your calendar, March 7th. That'll be on the Jay Thomas Show starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we invite people to join in on that. That will be fun as well. If you're not familiar with what the LRC is, it's a rather new way of forecasting long-term, forecasting 7 months out. The LRC model forecasted Hurricane Ian, the one that devastated areas around Fort Myers, forecasted that 7 months in advance, almost to the exact day. So just an incredible way to forecast long-term. It's been proven about 80% accurate. And you can't even get that on your app, on your 7-day outlook on your app, on any app that you have, your weather app. So I know we were talking about Antarctica earlier, Bridgette, and do you know, it's a very windy continent. So they've got a lot of wind down there. Do you know? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't ask her with a straight face. Justin wanted me to ask you. Are there any wind turbines down there? Do you know?
Yeah, that was a me question.
You two really sort of hate on that situation. You know what? How about you pick up Google Earth and that'll tell you.
Okay. Ooh. Sassy answer. I like it. Oh, man.
Yeah, if you want to share your thoughts on Antarctica, give us a call, 701-293-9000. But on a more serious note, before maybe we dive back into an unserious note, seed banks. They got some of those down in Antarctica, do they not? Or am I mistaken?
I don't remember if there's one in Antarctica, but I know there is one in Switzerland where they are trying to keep, and this is through a specific institute. I have to find the name of it, but they do keep varieties of seed from across the globe so that if anything ever happened, I mean, there's always that, we've had that fear of nuclear war since most of us were little kids. UFOs. And if that were to happen, this would keep all of those seeds safe and protected from radiation and so forth so that we can begin to regrowing a cropping system. But there is a spot, I know for sure, in Switzerland.
And there are several of these around the world. And I thought that I had heard that there was one on Antarctica, but maybe I was mistaken, or I don't know. Maybe I'll have to dive into that.
We'll check into that, but I think there very much would be. And why wouldn't you, right? Preserve all the things that you can, because you never know if you have to go back and find seeds to that living organism, because that's what plants are, and we may need to regenerate them at some point.
Well, I believe that some of these seed banks, that they have seeds for plants that are thought to be extinct right now. Have you heard that?
I have heard that as well, and it'd be fun to find one of their websites and see what information that they have, because plants can actually, as we change cultural practices and so forth, plants can no longer exist, or at least a specific variety may not exist. There are endangered species in plant life just the same way there are in animals.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll have to look into that. Maybe we can find someone from the Antarctica seed bank to join us on Weather and Ag in Focus, or maybe another seed bank that's a little closer to home.
I thought I would call the Reynolds Company and see if I can get a big discount on tinfoil for the two of you, and I'll see if I can get a giant roll moved into the studio.
Do you think you could do that?
Days.
If you can swing
I'll see
that,
what I can do for you.
if you can swing that, you'll have an extra present in your stocking next Christmas.
It'll be made out of
Hello,
tinfoil,
Twitter.
believe
Here
it or
I
not.
come.
Oh,
see what I can find for you.
Right.
Well, I think we still got another ag topic besides the whole Antarctica topic, but it's branching away from it.
Kind of.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This is
You
kind
go
of
ahead
for your
with it.
farming. I think about it for your farming simulator game, Justin. There's software out there that you should probably be seeing if you can buy it within your game. And these are items that farmers use that are tried and true that they're very happy with. One is called a Libra cart, and it is a way to track and manage your grain carts so you know where they're at in the field. You can also pull right off of them date, time, weight, as well as the GPS location where
Really?
that cart is and where it's unloading. Yes.
Wow.
So this is a pretty cool, really cool app that you could use. It's highly recommended by Cropzilla, which is also a farm software provider. So I thought that was neat. There's another one from Herbert Grain Ventures, and this is a network of 12 soil probes with soil and water sensors to give real-time data on your soil conditions and your rainfall. So that's helpful. It's not as cool as our rain gauges from
Productive Alternatives.
Productive Alternatives in Fergus Falls. Thank you. And lastly, there's one called Track Time by Profit Center. If you have multiple employees, this can tell you where your employees are, where your vehicles might be, and you can see how productive everybody's being and that they're getting their to-do list done on a daily basis. Because sometimes, especially in farming, you have folks scattered around in a lot of different remote areas. Nice to know where everybody's at and how things are going for them.
You know, there's some really cool software that's out there for that, and that's not even touching on the self-driving equipment and field mapping.
Like auto steer and so forth.
Yes, yeah, those. And when we were at Big Iron, and I think also down in Hefty Seeds Day, PhD Field Day down in Baltic, South Dakota last year, they both had exhibits where they had the autonomous grain bins, combines, tractors, and they were driving through fields on display all day with nobody in them, and they were just running all day.
Yes, and if you have ever been the grain cart driver, you are always told that is the most thankless job, the most yelled at person on the farm, because you're never in the right place at the right time.
Not going fast enough.
If your combine driver can control where the grain cart is going, there's less yelling. Think of it that way. That's one step towards the future.
There you go. That's great information. Thank you, Bridgette. And that's going to wrap it up for our show today. I want to thank you for joining us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. You want to come back tomorrow. Sarah Levis will be on with me, and we'll be talking with Butcher's Edge out of Edgeley. It'll be a fun conversation. Call in with any questions you might have. So we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, everyone out there, have a great afternoon. Enjoy the sunshine before we see the snow by tomorrow evening, and then the strong winds funneling in overnight into your Friday, causing blowing snow, followed by Arctic air for the weekend.
970